This is the Radically Realistic Podcast. I'm Susanna LaPointe, a 14-year personal training and nutrition coaching veteran. My wellness coaching practice incorporates strength, nutrition, and self-care. Because while fitness and nutrition are very important, they are just the tip of the iceberg as far as taking really amazing care of ourselves goes. So I incorporate all other types of self-care practices into my coaching as well. I call this podcast Radically Realistic because when it comes to implementing sustainable habits and practices to improve ourselves or our lives, they must be realistic and they must fit into our current lives. Otherwise, they won't stick. And then what even is the point? Join me each week as we explore another aspect of taking amazing care of ourselves through a lens of being super realistic about what we can and will actually fit into our lives. Let's get started with today's show. Hey there, friends. Hi, and welcome to episode 12 of the Radically Realistic Podcast. I'm so glad you've joined me today as we are talking about something pretty important. And that is the topic of training our foundational muscles. I am 41 years old and now solidly in the middle age category, as I'm assuming most of the people listening are probably also considered in that category. I've shifted my focus clientele to middle-aged humans, men and women, ages 35 to 65-ish, and this is a topic that is important and timely for all of us. When I was younger and working out like a complete maniac, as outlined in episode 2, I couldn't be bothered with training the boring muscles of my foundation, and boring is in quotation marks. This led to serious injury and chronic full body pain that lasted about 8 years before I mostly resolved it. I'm still dealing with the repercussions of this very large mistake that I made, but now it's mostly managed through moderate exercise and now not neglecting my foundational muscles. I think it's also important to note that at this time I was in my early 30s. When we are older, the repercussions are actually much bigger. So what am I talking about when I talk about foundational muscles? Glad you asked. I consider our foundational muscles to be the musculature in our stability system that is basically located in our trunk area. Our glutes, which are our butt muscles, our hips, our core, our back, and particularly the upper back and posture muscles of our neck and upper shoulder area. A bit of irony is that while these muscles are arguably the most important muscles to work regularly, they are definitely the most often overlooked. Why? Because they could be perceived as being a little bit boring or tedious, or I think more commonly, they're just not as impactful feeling as the larger multi-joint movements like squats, deadlifts, push-ups, etc. In our modern diet culture, which I will talk about more in an upcoming episode, these other exercises get a lot more attention because they are associated with losing weight, and they are associated with sculpting a body that is desirable. But I think the biggest secret is that if you don't train these foundational muscles and make sure that they are strong and functional, you aren't going to be able to move very well for very long. Keeping these muscles strong will prevent injury, and preventing injury becomes top priority as we get older. I'm sure if you are over 30 and have broken or strained something that has taken you out for several weeks or months, you understand what I'm talking about. Being injured and incapacitated is the furthest thing from fun, in my opinion. Obviously, some things can't be avoided, but lifestyle injuries like bending over in an awkward way to pick up something off the floor that leads to throwing your back out and relegating yourself to the couch for weeks on ice is definitely avoidable. Also extremely common. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. As we spend more and more time in front of screens and in the sitting position, and less time outside, we develop movement patterns that are setting us up for serious long-term injury. Our necks and backs are at risk for becoming strained and causing chronic pain for years to come if we don't stay on top of the things that keep us strong and mobile and upright. The other piece to this is, besides preventing injury, keeping these muscles strong are involved in helping us to feel really good every day. When you have a strong core and strong glutes and nice upright posture, and you're not hunched over, you have a lot more energy because your body is working efficiently. You also feel a lot more confident. Feeling confident and having energy are two of the key components in a lifestyle that keep you engaged and full of vitality. When we don't trust our bodies to navigate any terrain or to keep us upright and balanced in unstable situations, our confidence is truly affected. It makes us want to sit out and not participate in anything that's outside of our comfort zone. This is no way to live. Feeling sure of our body's ability to handle situations is a really big deal. An example of this is we go rafting every summer. We go on like multi-day trips where we raft down the river and then stop and camp on the side, and then the next day, so we have to like unload everything, and then the next day we load everything back up and then go down further. It's really fun, and there's a lot of unstable terrain. And I find myself thinking every single year that we do this, how fortunate and grateful I am to be able to navigate walking in unstable situations or totally rugged, uneven terrain, carrying awkward loads up little hills and up like big hills sometimes too. And just, I'm very thankful for my ability to be balanced and strong in that way. And it's just a really good example of being functionally strong and having a strong core and strong glutes and just being able to handle that stuff. Because if you're not strong in that way, something like that would stop you from doing something like that. Obviously, not that everyone wants to go rafting and do that sort of thing, but just being confident in your body to handle unstable situations is it's a nice feeling to have, that you can trust yourself. Same goes for hiking or biking on varied terrain or anything else that's not a sidewalk. We were meant to handle unstable situations. We were not meant to sit on a couch in a comfortable temperature all the time. In order to keep growing as humans, we have to push ourselves physically and mentally. This is the only way to grow outside of stagnation. So, what I invite you to think about today is, do you feel stable? Do you feel that you could trust your body to keep you upright in an unpredictable environment? Do you feel that you are agile and sure-footed? And do you feel that if you were walking over rocks and perhaps mud, that you would trust your body to handle the situation? And do you feel that you walk with your chest proud and your head up? Or do you feel that you are hunching over with rounded shoulders? All of these are results of having a super strong foundation. Our glutes are our most powerful muscles, and they are our biggest muscles, and they support our back and our knees, as well as propel us with power through life. If our glutes are weak, our body tends to recruit our lower back and our thighs to move through the world, which results in poor movement patterns and will most likely cause pain down the road. Having a strong back, especially those upper back posture muscles in your shoulders and your neck, ensure that we aren't rounding forward with our heads protruding out. This position causes so much neck pain after a while that will become irreversible and could affect our lives for years to come. Because I feel so strongly about this, I'm in the process of creating a bulletproof foundation group coaching program. This is going to include core, glute, hip, and posture training. And I'm looking for 3 more beta testers for the first round of this small group coaching program that is going to be at a reduced price. I already have 2 people signed up, and I plan to start March 1st, and the first round will go for 6 weeks. It's going to be a small group of 5 that will meet weekly and have homework to do throughout the week, plus short coaching modules to go through during the entirety of the program, plus a community for support. My goal is to make these workouts short and extremely effective. That is the radically realistic part. The workouts will be short and manageable, so that by the time the 6 weeks is up, you'll feel quite a bit stronger in these areas. Obviously, full strength will take longer than that, but it will be a good start, and should you decide to continue, you can continue building your strength after the first 6 weeks is up with the next iteration of the program. After the beta testing group, I plan to launch a full small group coaching program to build massive foundational strength with maximum efficiency. I'm really excited about heading this direction with some small group coaching because I feel like this is the training of the future. As we step away from diet culture more and more, and we are learning to appreciate our bodies for what they can do, not just for what they look like, plus because we are spending so much more time in front of screens, this is the stuff that's going to make the biggest difference in our functionality and confidence. If you have any questions, all the ways to contact me are in the show notes. I would be more than 100% happy to answer any questions you might have about this and to see if it would be a good fit if you're interested. If you're listening to this well after it airs, which is January 2021, still please reach out to me if you're interested. My goal is to have continuous small group coaching and training programs going from here on out, in addition to my one-on-one coaching, of course. I've spent 14 years exclusively in one-on-one coaching, and I'm ready to branch out a little bit to offer more affordable price point for some people, and plus a small group community for support. As another point of interest, just for the future, you can kind of just tuck this away if you're interested. I'm going to be doing a certification program for Moderation 365. So I'm going to be getting a certification in Moderation 365, which is an anti-diet approach to making nutrition effortless and enjoyable, and for ending the deprive and binge cycle, which, if you've been dieting for years, you understand what the deprive and binge cycle is. I was in it for about 10 years myself, and I am truly free from all food rules right now, and it is the most amazing thing ever, and I'm so thankful. So I want to pass this along to anyone who struggles in this area. So more to come on that soon. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate each and every download of this podcast. I also wanted to say I have had several people tell me they've tried to leave reviews and it's so not clear on how to do it. And I don't have the answer to that, but if you just Google how to leave a review on whatever platform it is, I'm sure you could find the answer. I wish I knew, but there's actually several platforms this podcast is on, and so I don't know exactly how to do it. I know it can be a pain in the ass, but I do appreciate reviews and ratings. So appreciate it. So thank you so much if you've done that, or if you do it, I appreciate it. Also, I'm so excited for the future of this podcast. And if you have any ideas for topics, if you have any questions, as always, please feel free to reach out to me. My information's in the show notes. All the ways to contact me are in there. I invite you to get a hold of me for any reason. I'd love to hear from you. I will talk to you next week. Have a great rest of the week, and goodbye.